Alright guys, welcome to the second edition of Building Our Environmental Sensor Kit. Today we're going to be going over some of the questions you've sent since episode 1, and we got a few great topics to cover. Let's get right into it. So the first question I got was, and I get this question a lot, can I use a different sensor than the one you recommend? Short answer is yes. A, make sure you use a sensor that works with the boards you're going to be building the project with. 2, pick a sensor that fits your need. For example, in our case for temperature, we're just interested in pretty much is it going from 31 to 32 degrees, for example. Of course, if you want to get into very, very in-depth temperature detail, like 31.007346.2, you're going to be needed a different kind of sensor. So pick the sensor that you feel fits your need the best, and you're going to be plenty okay. There's no problem on that. The second question I got is, I can't find a Bluetooth shield for the card you talked about, the little SD card that we've been using. People are like, can't find a shield, what do we do? All right, don't worry, there is a shield, it exists. It's actually right here. And that's a Bluetooth shield that you can put just on top of the board. Just like it fits the usual connectors. And then you can go and use other connectors on top of it if you want. So there's no problem with that. And I'll put the references to the Bluetooth shield on the GitHub page and also on the comment section. And of course, you guys may be using an Arduino-based system. Like this one has a Bluetooth embedded in it. There are different options around this. Next week, I'm going to be showing you some even smaller cards and CPUs and NPUs that you can use that do have Bluetooth enabled. So long story short, there are cards available for SD for Bluetooth. You can find them. The only thing you want to make sure when picking a Bluetooth card is that it's going to be handling BTLE, Bluetooth Low Energy. That's how we're going to be sending data from the cards to the mobile app. And most of the shields these days do that, so you're going to be okay. All right, next question are, what are my power options? How am I going to be powering those boards? Last week, I've showed you guys an option, which was to do this. Pretty much it's a regular battery that you can plug in. And then as the battery gets drained, you can either switch it or recharge it. That's the simplest option, I'm going to think. Also, pretty simple option is to take a USB cable. USB cable, what you're going to do is that you're going to be plugging the card on one end, and on the other end, usually that's where it's going to go into your car lighter. That's usually where it goes into. So that's a good way to do it. And just like the way you would charge your cell phone, you can put it in there. Speaking of charging, there's also a pretty cool option you want to consider. And that's using something like this. So this one's called the the LiPo Rider Pro. And the cool part with the LiPo Rider Pro, as well as other systems that are similar, is that you plug in your LiPo power that then goes into your card. It's pretty simple. But then you have other options. And in here, for example, you could be plugging a little solar cell. So you could be using solar energy to charge your card and even run some of your environmental sensor kit. That's pretty neat. Also has a on-off power switch that can be used. So that's a great way to have your card and have it rechargeable just by putting a LiPo battery on it. Again, next week I'm going to be showing you some systems that have everything embedded. Makes it just a little bit simpler and easier to build your process. But really, those things are pretty cool when it comes to powering the boards and making sure the board stays connected all day long. And then my favorite question that we received is, why don't you just sell the device? I guess some of you don't want to build things, right? No, okay, so to be clear, we will sell the device, and that's something we're gonna do, but you guys are makers, and these videos are actually made for makers with 2 intents in mind. One, we want to make sure people understand there's no magic involved in capturing environmental data and putting that back on the cloud for processing. And even nowadays, if you're outside of the maker community, people think there's a lot of technology involved, it's very complex, that no one else can do it. So we want to break down that wall. And we're counting on you, the maker community, to build your own board to show people that capturing data is something that can be done fairly easily and doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So you guys can start on this. The second reason we want to do those videos and also work with the maker community is educate others to what happens in terms of safety and privacy once you start sending your own data up to the cloud. We feel that within the realm of IoT, that topic is not being investigated as much as it should be. So we're counting on you to, again, do the build with us, send some feedback, and show people what happens once that data goes into the cloud and different ways you can protect it and use it. For us at SmartTrans, the safety and privacy of the information is going to be one of our core components. So we'll be sharing with you our approach and how we do things. All right, that's it for our Q&A session for this week. Next week, we're going to be talking about putting the board together and sending data from the board to an app on the phone. Yes, we know that next week is going to be Christmas for those of you who are following pretty much live, so we're not going to be pushing the video on the 24th. Don't wait just a few days after, and you'll get to play with it. Please do send your comments and ideas anytime. You see, that's why we did this Q&A session today. Also, please subscribe to the video feed. That way you get an update whenever we push the new one. It's pretty simple. Enjoy the weekend and keep on building a great environmental sensor kit.